Assalamualaikum dear students. Welcome to NIVS Home School. Hope you all are fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. This is Kamun Nahar, Assistant Teacher of English, National Ideal English Version School, Day Shift. Today I am going to take your English language class, and our today's topic is preposition. And you know there are lots of preposition in our English language, and we will know the use of some of the preposition today. Okay, let's see what is preposition. A preposition is a word that shows the relation between a noun or a pronoun and some other words in a sentence. That means a preposition shows relation between two words. A preposition is placed before a noun or a pronoun. So we will write the preposition or use the preposition before a noun or a pronoun. And look at this circle. If you can remember this circle, you will not be confused regarding the use of this preposition. Now look, if you if something is inside this circle, inside this enclosed area, we use in. And if we take a particular point or a particular position in this circle, we use at. And now look, when we use in this area or circle, we can say she is in the car. That means an enclosed area. And when we use at, now look, if you imagine this area is in Dhaka and this point is Banasri, we can say I live at Banasri in Dhaka. That means we take a particular place, Banasri in Dhaka. And when something is on the surface attached to it, we use on. Like the example, the book is on the table. And when something is moving over the surface, on the surface we use over. When something something has motion, like the birds are flying over the tree. That means the birds are flying. That means there is a motion. And when something is fixed or steady, we use above. For example, the light is above my head. That means the light is fixed. That's why we use above. And we use under and beneath to show the lower position. We use below also, but when the object is steady, we use under or beneath. Like the cat is sitting under or beneath the tree. But if we are talking about a river, we will use below. Now look, if you go through, from one or pass from one side to the another side, we will use through or across. Like we walk through the forest or we walk across the field or we swim across the river. Now when something is moving or something has motion and it is getting into this circle, we use getting in this circle, we use into. And when we are taking away something from that circle, we use out of. And when something is coming to that surface, we use onto. Like the frog jumped onto the lily pad. Now when something is coming towards coming to that direction, coming to the circle, we use towards. Like I stood up and walked towards my mother. And when something is moving in a circle or going round, we use around. Like the earth moves around the sun. And when something is next to this circle, we use beside. And you know the use of up and down. Now there are some other common preposition like between, among, behind, in front of. So when you use between, now look at the position of the ball. The ball is in the middle of these two boxes. So when you take, when we are talking about two things, or when we try to divide something between two persons, we use between. And when we are talking about more than two, we use among. And now look at the position of this ball. It is in the back side of this box. So we will use behind. And now look, when it is before the box, we use in front of. That means the box is, the ball is in front of this box. Now we will know about the use of at, in or on. The preposition of time. When we use at, and when we use in, and when we use on to show time. Now when we are talking about a fixed time, that is a clock time, we use at, like at 11 a.m., at 9 p.m. or at 2 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, etc. And when we are talking about a part of a day, we use in, like in the morning, in the evening, in the night. But there is an exception. Sometimes we use at in front of the part of a day. But when, now look, sleeping is your usual work at night. But when you do something unusual, we use at. Like you wake up in the middle of the night. So we use at night. And waking up at the middle of the night is not your usual work. So when we go through some usual work, we use in front of the part of a day. And when we are talking about a day, we use on, like on Sunday, on 26th March, that means a whole day. And when we are talking about more than a day, we use in, like in the last week, in April, in 1971. Now we will know more use of in. And now look, we use in during the time. Like in 3 hours, we also use within, end of the time, like within 3 hours. Now look, when you use in, that means you will complete your work in any time of these 3 hours. But when we are using within, that means you will complete your work after 3 hours. And we use for and since to show times. We use for when we can divide the time, like for 2 hours, we can divide it 1 hour, 2 hours, we can say 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, like that. But we use since when we can't divide the time, like we will not say 1 morning, 2 morning or 3 morning. That's why we use since. So when we can't divide or split the time, that means when the time is undivided, we use since. And when we can divide or split the time, we use for. So if you can remember this circle and remember this chart, I hope you will not be confused regarding the use of the preposition. And there are lots of preposition, you will know about them in your higher classes. So that's all for today. Hope you have understood our today's topic. Keep practicing at home and listen to your parents. See you again. Allah Hafiz.